Drove a Chevy across the plains. West wind whispering my name. These roads are fast and long. Where did I go wrong? Tumbleweeds form a cyclone in the corner of the mall. Gotta get off the road before the snow falls. This weather is gonna kill us all. Gonna kill us all. Crossing the Great Divide, the sky was wide and bright. With a little help from Jesus, sneak through Utah in the night. Bleached bones, the wind was crying. Bleached bones, you're all alone. Bleached bones, I don't feel like dying. On this old trail so far from my home. On this old trail so far from my home. Driving through the valley, the rocks, they tend to fall. And these mountains are so big, and I'm so blessed small. Bleached bones, I'm never coming home. Beat the desert to the great estate. I haven't learned my lesson well. Stay a while and turn that car around. Right straight back through hell. Bleached bones, you're never going home.
big crowd here.
Oh my gosh. I'm Marcy
All
Boku,
right.
and I am really thrilled to introduce Del Weed and his friends. And Del, would you like to introduce your friends to us, please?
I sure would.
And can I just tell everybody that the name of this band is The Bearded Gentlemen?
Oh, accurate.
Okay.
The Bearded
Weirdo
Gentlemen.
Weirdo
All
beardos.
right, Del, introduce
That might
everybody.
work. On my left, your right, Reinhold Kunz on the violin,
Yes.
and Fred
Fred. Hi, Fred.
Rodemaker on the mandolin. And over here is my partner for 75 years, Jeff Cutts.
Jeff Cutts.
He doesn't look that old, does he?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So it's really great to have you here in the studio once again, Del. And
Thanks for having us.
I'm real excited to ask you some deep probing questions.
Oh boy.
No, my first question actually is, how many bands have you been in, or are you currently in? Because I know that's two different answers, right?
Well, do you want me to talk for a long time?
Medium.
Well, I started out playing with a guy in lacrosse, and I moved back to Waupaca, played in a band called Homegrown, a duo.
Homegrown.
Then we formed Stack Deck out of that. Dr. Sax and the Maniacs, Country Roy and the Mugs.
Are we going back to the 70s here?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Weed Cuts duo started way back then, and then we had a Half Pants group, and now we have the Sweet Rollers and the Desperate Autos.
Right. And then last summer, I think you had another little trio called FDR.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which I thought that was a clever name because it was
FDR.
Fran. Wait, what was it? How did you do it? Fran?
FDR.
Yeah, FDR. And then you called it the New Deal.
The New Deal. Yes,
That
it
was-
was either that or the Great Depression.
Equally good. And then this group is called Del and Friends, Del Weed and Friends, kind of, or?
Sure, I did have a
FDR
name
plus?
picked out, but it really wasn't kid friendly.
Oh, okay. So we're going to go with the Bearded Gentleman, I think. Okay. All right. So Del, tell me a little bit about, or tell us, and we've got a live audience on Facebook. And by the way, if any of you are on Facebook and you'd like to submit a question, just do it in the comments. Tammy Jo from our arts board is here, and she will relay those deep probing questions to us. And we do have a live studio audience tonight, too. So this is a pretty great way to bring in the new
All
year.
right.
So my question to you is,
So I can't do that third verse over?
so in your bio that you sent us, which was a very nice bio, and it is on our Facebook page, you talked about getting a guitar when you were a child. How old were you when you started playing guitar?
Playing guitar for real, it wasn't until I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I always had one.
You always had one
I had
around
one.
the house,
Yeah.
right?
I,
And did you take lessons by any
I
chance?
took one lesson,
One lesson?
yeah, and I learned it all.
Wow.
No,
Did
no,
you, was it
and
a
I'm
local
still just
person?
as good then as I am
You are
now.
Quick study.
I thought there was a story about you having a cape and a guitar.
Oh yeah, my Zorro guitar and my cape, we all wore capes when we were kids.
That's awesome. I'm actually kind of interested in the other fellows too, how they got their start in music, when it started to occur to them that they wanted to play music. And we'll start with you, Jeff. I'm going to give you this.
I learned on the church organ as kids. My brother and I both took lessons, and I always wanted to play guitar, so I got my first little acoustic, which I still have. It's about this big. When I was 10, my 10th birthday, and I just kind of adapted what I knew from the organ lessons, and the rest is history.
And you're a really great keyboardist. Yes.
I do it.
Yes.
Yes.
I can attest that I've seen him play keyboards and been in awe. All right, let's go over to Rhino. When did you start playing music and what instruments? Well, you've got your own mic. Okay.
I do? Okay.
Yeah.
I dropped it a minute ago. I'm sure they love that. I was about 9 years old, and I wanted to play drums, and my parents got me a violin.
Nice. Why do parents do that? I can understand though. I mean, I also work at the Arts Hub, which is an art and music school here in Waupaca, and when those drum lessons happen, holy mackerel, it's amazing. I really honor the parents who are giving their kids drum lessons. All right, so violin, did you take actual lessons on the violin?
I did for a year, and then I was in the school orchestras, but I didn't. I was a failure at it. But it wasn't until I was a little older that I started playing, more seriously.
And you have a storied music history that we'll have to cover on another show.
Absolutely.
All right, and Fran Rademacher, when did you start playing music?
Well, I've told my fascinating story before on a previous show, but thank you all for making us famous here on the radio in the Carnegie Hall of Waupaca.
That's right.
But anyway, I took my first piano lesson on my 13th birthday.
Oh my
My parents bought a piano, a used piano, and a cheap guitar was thrown in with it, which I was more interested. And I got my only guitar lesson from a migrant worker next
that's
to my
right.
parents' farm. There was migrant workers living in this old German prisoner camp, because there used to be German war prisoners there during the war. And then it was migrants when I was a kid. And young man, 15-year-old, gave me my first lesson.
All right,
Only lesson.
I'm going to say Fran's story wins as far as the most
Fascinating.
obtuse music story I've ever heard. All right, getting back to
Well,
Del. So when did you start writing music?
Probably, I don't know, 1975, 6, around there.
Okay,
They weren't good, but I was writing.
you were writing? And so you've been writing since then. That's an awful huge number of years. How many songs do you think you've written in that time period?
About 1 million parts, 1 million sheets with chords on them.
Wow.
I don't know. Ones that we play out, there's probably 30 or 40 that we really know.
That you've worked up
Yeah,
and have
yeah.
arrangements for and stuff in the various groups? Awesome. All right, so that first song that you played was called something with bones.
Bleached Bones.
Bleached Bones. Do you want to mention anything about what that's all about?
Well, that came to me. We were on our drive to California, and I couldn't get to sleep one night. We were going to plan the trip through Nevada on Highway 50 or take 80. And Highway 50 is the loneliest road in the U.S.
Oh.
And I started calling it Bleached Bones. Are we going to take Bleached Bones? There's no stops all the way through Nevada.
Wow.
And I couldn't sleep that night, so I wrote the song.
Wow, that's kind of cool. All right, and that was recently, right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing all pretty recent songs tonight, aren't you?
That one's new. The next two are old,
Okay.
and the ending is a couple years old.
Okay. So what's our next song? Because we're going to go to the next song in a second.
Okay.
Can you just tell me what it's called?
Lonely Part of Town.
Lonely Part of Town with Del Weed and Friends on Waupaca Local Live.
Lonely part of town. Think I'll step outside, catch a ride down to the riverside.
I'm feeling blue, now we're through. Down to the riverside. Gonna patch up the hole in my soul. Down to the riverside. Well, I'm a walking lost and lonely down a lonely street. I'm missing you. Wandering to the rhythm of the beat of my feet, and I'm missing you. Throw a rock in the river, it sinks just like a stone hard well. I didn't think that I would be lonely still. Lonely part of town. Left my faith of the world in the alley in the dead of night. And I'm lost and cold, growing old in the dead of night. Trying to hold on, but it's gone in the dead of night. Well, I'm a walking lost and lonely down a lonely street. I'm missing you. Wandering to the rhythm of the beat of my feet, and I'm missing you. Throw a rock in the river, it sinks just like a stone hard well. I didn't think that I could be lonely still. Lonely part of town. Well, I carry on best I can, walking through a brave new world. Forgive the sin, start again, walking through a brave new world. Just give it time, I'll be fine, walking through a brave new world. Now I'm a walking lost and lonely down lonely street. I'm missing you. Wandering to the rhythm of the beat of my feet, and I'm missing you. Throw a rock into the river and it sinks like a stone hard well. I didn't think that I could be lonely still. I didn't think that I would be lonely still.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, they like that one. All right, Del, I want to ask you about your history of playing out. I know you've played all over the place, and you play a lot, don't you? How many gigs do you play a year with your
Well,
various groups?
Years ago, we played 85 gigs one year. And the very next year, I had a heart attack, and he had heart trouble, and we all fell apart there for a while. But we try to, I don't know, 30 or 40 or 50.
That's a lot.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly on weekends?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. That's,
Mostly in the area. We don't travel a long distance.
What's about the farthest?
Farthest
that you
we'll go is probably Door County.
Okay, that's far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and how did COVID affect all of that? Obviously, it affected it, but how?
For a whole year, I did nothing
Okay. And was that
except
hard?
write
Oh, you wrote
virus songs.
Virus songs.
Yeah. I was not motivated at all until the second year. Yeah. I was at home working, and I just felt, ugh.
Yeah.
But it came around.
There's a little thing in your bio that says insert story here that you had your first real show and you were oh so nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about your first live gig.
Well, it was in La Crosse, and it was with my friend Tim Kohler, who actually taught me how to play.
Okay.
And we had a show. He says one day, "We're at a show at the River City Palace tonight." I said, "Oh,
Tonight?
okay, yeah." So we proceeded to go down to the bar and buy a. We were in Minnesota at the time. We bought a case of 3-2 Olympia beer and sat on the bluff and drank that before we went to play.
Oh, that was smart.
It went fine. Everything was fine. The 3-2 beer, nothing to it.
Did you get paid?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's funny that you had such short notice.
I don't think he wanted to make me any more nervous than I already
So
was.
he already knew about it,
Yeah.
and he just kind of told you. Okay. All right, so, yeah, a lot of different groups that you play with, and you play some covers and a lot of originals that you play out. How is that when you teach people that don't know your music how to play it? Do you have like set parts set up in your head, what you want them to play, or do you just let people collaborate and fall together?
I arrange them.
You do
Yeah,
arrangements.
yeah.
So you,
just
Fran just
by-
showed me. So do you actually type these up on your
Yeah,
computer?
yeah.
All right, so that's
I type
great.
everything up because that makes it stick in my head better.
Just gonna show this.
Copyright.
Very impressive.
Give away all your secrets.
So I just learned these songs last week.
Okay.
Or, I don't know if I really know them, but I'm trying to know them.
But yeah,
That's great.
I find that I even cover songs. I'll type them all out.
Okay.
That way they stick in my head.
So do you have like in mind that you want a guitar solo here, you want a violin solo here?
Yeah.
Harmony,
And then when we
that
get
kind of
together, it kind of
Okay.
Falls
it
apart.
gets arranged. It can get rearranged.
Or
And
deranged.
how is he to work with? Is he a taskmaster, or does he let you?
He's a good guy to work with. He's a hard-working man. He does all the advertising and PA equipment and
Wow.
business and all sorts of stuff, and writes most of the songs.
And I
and
soldered the lights
Yeah.
back together today.
You're like the
Sounds
Paul
like
McCartney of
something,
Waupaca.
keeps his band.
Bloody right.
Wow. All right, so you have all the sound equipment, you own it, you haul it, you set it up. Do you guys run your own sound, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have a sound guy?
Yeah, we do.
You do have a sound
Yeah.
guy?
Every now and then.
Okay.
When we need it.
And so what designates when you need sound and when you don't?
Big venue.
Okay. What's the biggest venue you've played?
Fifner Park 2 years ago, was it?
Oh,
Last
okay.
year? Well, last year, I think it was.
That's in Point,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Awesome.
We opened for Indigenous.
Oh, okay. So was that part of their concert series
Yeah.
thing? How was that? Was that fun? Have
Yeah.
a big crowd like that?
That was nice. There was a lot of people there.
Awesome. So it's a thrill to play. You like to play out, obviously, or you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
That's
I wouldn't do it. If I didn't like what I was doing, I wouldn't do it.
And you have more time to do it now because you're retired, correct? Kind of?
Sure.
Not retired?
That's how it works.
Yeah. I'd like to play a lot more than we do, but it's hard.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, if people want to find you, you have a really nice up-to-date Facebook page. Tell us about how to find you on the internet, the interwebs.
Well, you can find us at www.desperateautos.com. That's our main band, and that on Facebook, Del Weed and his Sweet Rollers, and also Weed Cuts Duo,
Right?
and Del Weed Music. I have some strange things on there. Some of my solo stuff from years ago.
So people can kind of go and search through and actually find some of your music there.
Yeah.
We've also got, I think the first 2 times you were on the show was on the Arts Board Archive. If you go to Waupaca Local Live page on our website and click on that, you'll find all the archives of all of our previous shows. So it's kind of fun to watch where you were and where you're coming from. So we're ready for another song, and what's our next song going to be, Del?
The next song is called Nightlife Kinda Guy. This is all about meeting Reinl and Jeff, kind of. We used to play. We had some downtime with music, and there was a jam session going on at this bar. I think it was Wednesdays. And I met Jeff there, and I met Reinl there.
How
and,
many years ago was that?
Oh boy. 20, dude, 25, 20 more, 25 or 30 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
And, I'd say, oh, I'm going to go out, or I'm going to go play, and she says, when you coming home? Yeah, as soon as we're done. And then Jeff and I would sit in the station wagon all night and listen to tapes. That's when we formed the Desperados, was in the station wagon.
In the station
Yep.
wagon.
And then the sun would come up when we go home.
Oh my gosh. Maybe we'll talk about your home life in the next section.
Oh,
Did you get in a little bit of trouble?
probably.
Okay.
I'm still in trouble.
Well, with a song called "The Nightlife Kinda Guy," I can see why. All right, Del Weed and the Nightlife Kinda Guy on Waupaca Local Live.
Gonna grab my guitar, gonna jump in my car, I'm going down to the bar, I'm gonna sing like a star. Gotta meet up with my friends, and the night'll never end. Leaving home on the run, say goodbye, I'm leaving, hun. Yeah, I love you a ton, be right back when I'm done. I'm gonna stand up there and play, won't have it any other way. Banging on this thing, good God, until my fingers bleed. Well, you know I gotta go real soon, but I can never leave. Have one more for the road, bartender secret code. Tell me how much that I owed, just to carry home a load. Half the fun is getting high, I'm a nightlife kind of guy. Leaving here I cannot stay, while I still can find my way. Every dog has got his day, how much more I got to pay? Not much more I have to say, I'll go home and hit the hay. Banging on this thing, good God, until my fingers bleed. Well, you know I gotta go real soon, but I can never leave. Don't you know I gotta go? Man, I gotta hit the road. Man, I really gotta roll. I gotta go, go, go. But I don't wanna say goodbye, I'm a nightlife kind of guy.
I love that song. I love songs that have like two different like meters in them. It's just really cool. You're a really great songwriter. You know that?
Oh, thank you.
You really are. Can you just give us an idea of what has inspired you, or who do you listen to when you listen to your music?
Well, I got fired up when I was a kid listening to Roger Miller. Then it turned
All
to
right.
John
Sailor
Prine,
for
John Prine,
sailor.
Steve Goodman.
John Prine.
I like old Jimmy Buffett, Harry Nilsson, Martin Mull. I get my humor from those guys, and all the Texas songwriters. I really like them.
Yeah, you do have a little Texas swingy thing, and these guys are really great at falling into that vibe too. Really nice, tight arrangements, you guys.
And I appreciate these guys playing
Yeah.
with me.
Fran wants to say
I just want to say it's an honor to be asked to play with Del.
Oh.
I appreciate you asking me to play with him.
Okay. As long as we're doing some shout outs here to Del, we've got Doug Thompson watching from Carolina. Hey,
Hi,
Doug.
Doug.
We've got Steve Schroeder from
Schroeder.
South Dakota.
Yeah.
All right.
My mother's watching, I
Your mom's
think.
watching. Anybody want to say hi to anybody that might be watching?
Pete Forsyth said he was watching,
Pete's
so hi, Pete.
Hi, Pete.
And he's out in, is he in Vermont?
New York.
He's
New
in
York.
New York,
New York.
yeah.
Look, this is what's great about doing this on Facebook because we're just really covering the whole place. We've got a couple of friends, grandkids in Oregon and Chicago watching, or Blue
really?
Island, I should say. Hi,
All
guys.
right. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Anybody
Hi,
else?
Morgan. Hi, Rowan.
And the studio is full.
And the studio is absolutely full. A really rowdy bunch of people. A great way to bring in 2023, Del. All right. What did I write readings for? Oh, recordings. Do you have any recorded music? Do you have any CDs or any online music that people can download, Spotify, whatever?
No.
No.
I've got lots of recordings that I just haven't had time to go through and mix and master, and that's just time consuming.
Is that something
What
that
I
you're
really-
looking forward to doing at some
No,
point?
what I'd really like to do is have somebody do that for me.
Okay. And you can contact him through one of his many Facebook pages if you're willing to do that for Del.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we could listen to your stuff. But you said you had some like.
Well, yeah, I've got
sort of
some demos.
Apache
We've Desperado demos and some
Yeah.
solo demos, Sweet Roller demos out, and most of them recorded live.
Okay.
And you get it live.
It'd be cool to have a Del Weed anthology album, like a double album.
Well, if I do record anything seriously, it's going to be about 6 albums long.
And I'd like to be in the studio. You're gonna have some great musicians because you have some here. All right. Anything else you want to tell us before we come to your last song? And I do want to talk about that last song. We're at the last song point, right? This is number 4.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Anything else you want to tell us about your musical career? Advice for young musicians. How about that? What would you tell parents who don't want to have their kid go into music? They want to have them go into business. What would you tell them?
I tell them what my buddy told me in La Crosse when I wanted to get serious about it. He says, find some songs that you like, and he helped me, showed me how to play the chords, and there you go.
Just do it, in other words?
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Believe in it. You've brought so much joy to this community. We had such great feedback when we were going to have you on the show again. So thank you, Del. And let's talk about your last song, 32 Trains.
32 Trains, yes.
Tell us what that's about. Shout out to Mike Kirk if you would ever listen to our show.
I was working a job where I saw the trains go by all the time, and a friend of mine that I golf with, and I said, hey, Ted, how many, at that time he lived right on the tracks, how many trains go by your house every day? He said, 32 rattling by there every day. And I
I
said,
have heard that. It's
Oh.
in the 30s.
but this is kind of about working the graveyard shift and watching the trains. And
Okay. All right, 32 Trains. Thank you so much, Del and friends,
well, thank
for
you.
coming to Waupaca
Thanks
Local
everybody
Live.
out there.
All right, one last song from Del Weed. Let's have a hand for these guys.
Thank you.
The nights are long and the coffee just don't save me anymore. My days are filled with sleep, my spirit broke and sore. When I hear the sound of the whistle coming up the line, I fold my hands for better days and a quicker way of dying. 32 trains a day roll by my grave 32 times a day. I cry out to be saved. Stop and let me board. It's freedom that I crave. 32 trains a day roll by my grave. The sun comes up and the moon goes down. The world is turning around. It's like I'm living with the dead, but I ain't in the ground. I know the next one's coming. I can feel it rumbling near. Just slow down and pick me up. Get me out of here. 32 trains a day roll by my grave. 32 times a day I cry out to be saved. Stop and let me board. It's freedom that I crave. 32 trains a day roll by my grave. Coming down the tracks, the stars are shining bright. The Sioux line's slowing down. This may be the night. I throw my bones on board. How I struggle to get in. Just pick me up and take me from this place that I've been. 32 trains a day roll by my grave. 32 times a day I cried out to be saved. Stop and let me board. It's freedom that I crave. 32 trains a day roll by my grave. One, two, three, four. comes that train. Thank you.